On the 8th of July 1870, the Papal Infallibility decree was passed by the First Vatican Council. It was declared that the Pope is infallible when speaking ex cathedra, that is when as shepherd and teacher of all Christians, he defines a doctrine concerning faith or morals to be held by the whole Church. At the completion of this council, the episcopal votes and the papal proclamation of the new dogma were accompanied by flashes of lightning and claps of thunder from the skies, and so great was the darkness which spread over the Church of St. Peter, that the Pope could not read the decree of his own infallibility without the artificial light of a candle. This voice of nature was interpreted as an evil omen of impending calamities to the papacy. A Protestant eyewitness of this event, Professor Ripley, thus described the scene in a letter from Rome, published in the New York Tribune for August 11, 1870. Before leaving Rome, I send you a report of the last scene of that absurd comedy called the Ecumenical Vatican Council. It is at least a remarkable coincidence that the opening and closing sessions of the council were inaugurated with fearful storms, and that the vigil of the promulgation of the dogma was celebrated with thunder and lightning throughout the whole of the night. Yesterday morning I went down in rain, and under a frowning sky which menaced terrible storms later in the day. The new dogma of papal infallibility was sung by the voice of a secretary reading in a high key. At its conclusion the names of the fathers were called over, and placet after placet succeeded ad nauseam. But what a storm burst over the church at this moment! The lightning flashed and the thunder pealed as we have not heard it before. Every affirmative vote seemed to be announced by a flash and terminated by a clap of thunder. Through the cupolas the lightning entered, licking as it were the very columns of the baldacchino over the tomb of St. Peter, and lighting up large spaces on the pavement. Enough in that it was a remarkable coincidence, and so it struck the minds of all who were present. And thus the roll was called for 1 hour and a half with this solemn accompaniment, and then the result of the voting was taken to the Pope. The moment had arrived when he was to declare himself invested with the attributes of God, nay, a God upon earth. Looking from a distance into the hall, which was obscured by the tempest, nothing was visible but the golden mitre of the Pope, and so thick was the darkness that a servitor was compelled to bring a lighted candle and hold it by his side to enable him to read the formula by which he deified himself. And behold, the day after the proclamation of the dogma, Napoleon III, the political ally and supporter of Pius IX, unchained the furies of war, which in a few weeks swept away the empire of France and the temporal throne of the infallible Pope. His own subjects forsook him, and almost unanimously voted for a new sovereign.